Welcome back everyone to RF Coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in American coin history, the 1964 Lincoln penny, a small 1-cent piece that might look ordinary, but can actually be worth a lot of money, up to $222,679 in the collector's market. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that once bought you a piece of candy could now buy you a luxury car, or even a small house, so stay tuned, because in this 15-part series, we'll uncover every secret, every mystery, and every mint detail behind the legendary 1964 Lincoln cent. And in this first part, we're going back to where it all began, the story behind this tiny copper coin, and the surprising truth about why some 1964 pennies have no mint mark at all. The story begins. The era of change. The year was 1964. America was alive with change. John F. Kennedy had just been remembered on the brand new $50. The Vietnam War was intensifying, and the United States Mint was producing billions of coins to feed an economy that was booming. The Lincoln cent, designed by Victor David Brenner, had already become a national symbol of trust, unity, and honesty since 1909. It bore the famous words, "In God we trust," and the humble portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of American strength and integrity. But in 1964, something interesting happened at the Denver Mint. A production surge that created one of the largest mintages in U.S. coin history. More than 3.7 billion Lincoln cents were struck that year, yet despite the massive number, only a few select coins today stand out, because of minting errors, unique metal compositions, and rare conditions that turn these simple coins into treasures worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. No mint mark mystery. Now here's where things get even more interesting. You might have a 1964 Lincoln penny that has no mint mark under the date. And you might wonder, is that normal? Is it rare? Well, here's the truth. No mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia, not Denver. So technically, if your penny has no D under the year, it came from the Philadelphia Mint. But here's the twist. Some 1964 pennies were struck with weak marks, or with filled die errors, where the D was faint, missing, or barely visible. Collectors call these ghost mint marks, and some of them have sold for hundreds of dollars, simply because of their unusual look. Imagine that, a missing letter turning an ordinary cent into a collector's dream. Why the 1964 penny matters. But the true excitement begins when you find a 1964 Lincoln cent that's not just any coin, but one with error varieties or in uncirculated condition. Many collectors chase the double die reverse errors, where the letters, numbers, or even Lincoln's image appears doubled under magnification. Some of these rare doubled varieties have sold for over $10,000 depending on the sharpness and clarity of the error. Then there are the proof-like strikes, with mirror-finish surfaces that were never meant for circulation but somehow escaped the mint. Those pieces, especially when graded by PCGS or NGC at MS67 or higher, can reach mind-blowing prices, sometimes well beyond $200,000. Like one 1964 that recently caught the attention of the coin world for its stunning luster and flawless copper tone. The copper mystery. The 1964 Lincoln penny was struck using 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that classic reddish-brown shine collectors love. But over the decades, some of these coins have naturally darkened or developed beautiful toning, a rainbow-like pattern caused by oxidation, and believe it or not, this toning can increase the coin's value dramatically, especially when the colors appear vivid and even across the surface. So if you have a 1964 penny that glows red, blue, purple, or orange under light, don't clean it. It might just be a naturally toned gem that collectors would pay a fortune for. Current market value. Now let's talk numbers, the part everyone waits for. While a normal circulated 1964 penny might be worth 1 to 5 cents, depending on its condition, a brilliant uncirculated coin, graded MS65 red or higher, can fetch between $50 to $300. A rare error coin, such as a double die or a coin struck on a wrong planchet, can jump into the thousands. And those perfect grade gems, with pristine surfaces and blazing color, can soar up to $222,679 or more in auctions. Yes, that's the world of coin collecting, where patience, detail, and a bit of luck can turn a small copper cent into a golden reward. So there you have it, coin lovers, the beginning of our journey into the mystery, history, and hidden fortune of the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. In Part 2, we'll explore how to identify valuable error pennies, how grading changes everything, and the secrets that professional collectors use to find these rare cents in circulation. So if you haven't already, subscribe now to RF Coins, hit that bell icon, and get ready for the next part, because we're just getting started, and the story of the 1964 Lincoln cent is about to get even more incredible. Today we are exploring a truly fascinating piece of American coinage, the 1968 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that looks ordinary but hides secrets that can make it worth over $222,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1-cent coin from 1968 that could be sitting in your old coin jar might be worth a small fortune today, but why is this coin so special? What makes it valuable? Let's dive into the story that began more than half a century ago. The birth of the 1968 D. Lincoln penny. The year was 1968, and the United States was in the middle of cultural change, space exploration, and technological growth. The Lincoln penny had already become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 1968 version, however, came at a time when minting technology was improving, and the Denver Mint, marked by the small letter D under the date, was producing billions of coins, but among these billions, a few rare and mysterious coins stood out, the ones that would later drive collectors crazy. What does the D mint mark mean? The D under the date represents the Denver Mint in Colorado. In 1968, the U.S. Mint decided to bring back mint marks on coins after removing them for several years during the 1960s. This small letter may seem like a minor detail, but in the world of numismatics, it means everything. Different mints often have variations in design, metal quality, and even tiny mistakes, all of which can make some coins far rarer than others. The composition and design. The 1968 D. Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. On the obverse front, we have the legendary portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears design. But it's not just the design that excites collectors, it's the condition, errors, and minting marks that truly matter. Hidden errors that can make you rich. Many 1968 D. Lincoln cents were struck with minting errors. Some of the most valuable ones include double die obverse, where Lincoln's face, date, or lettering appears doubled, center strike, when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, clipped planchet, where a part of the coin's edge is missing, die cracks or die breaks, which create raised lines or blobs on the coin. These rare errors make the coin highly collectible and can boost its value from just 1 cent to thousands of dollars. Why the 1968 D penny is so rare. While billions of 1968 D pennies were minted, only a tiny fraction survived in perfect condition. Most circulated coins have scratches, wear, or discoloration. However, uncirculated or proof-like examples with clear, sharp details and shiny surfaces are extremely hard to find today, and that's where the big money lies. Collectors and grading companies look for coins graded MS65, MS66, or higher, which can sell for jaw-dropping prices. Auction records and shocking sales. In recent years, some 1968 D. Lincoln cents in pristine condition have shocked collectors at auctions. One MS67 red example was sold for over $222,679, making it one of the most expensive coins of its type. It's a reminder that small details, like color, shine, and even tiny mint marks, can mean the difference between 1 cent and a fortune. Understanding grades. The key to value coin grading is everything when it comes to coin collecting. The Sheldon scale ranges from 1 to. For the 1968 D. Lincoln penny, a circulated coin might be worth around 10 cents to $1.50. An uncirculated MS65 red coin can reach $300, $500. But a top-graded MS67 plus red can command over $200,000 at auction. That's how the grading difference can turn a pocket change coin into a life-changing find. Part 9. Spotting valuable variants. Keep an eye out for no mint mark errors. Very rare. 1968 coins accidentally struck without the D. Bright red luster coins with no oxidation, strong strike details on Lincoln's hair, jawline, and lettering. Each of these characteristics adds to the desirability and collector value of the coin. Part 10. the story behind the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has been minting coins since 1906, and it's one of the busiest coin producers in the world. By 1968, it had developed advanced machinery, but even with improvements, small human or mechanical errors still happened, and those mistakes are now worth gold for collectors. Part the role of copper prices. Here's something fascinating. The metal in older pennies is often worth more than the face value of the coin itself, because the 1968 D cent is 95% copper. The melt value alone is higher than 1 cent. But collectors never melt these coins because their historical and collectible value far exceeds the metal value. Part how to identify your treasure. If you have a 1968 D Lincoln penny, grab a magnifying glass, look closely at the date, mint mark, and Lincoln's face. If the coin looks extra sharp, has doubling, or shows unusual metal flow, don't spend it. Instead, take it to a professional coin grader or numismatic expert. Who knows, you could be holding a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Part protecting and storing your valuable coins. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid fingerprints. Store them in acid-free holders, coin flips, or hard plastic cases. Never clean old coins. Cleaning can ruin their surface and destroy their value instantly. A little care can preserve a small fortune for generations. Part the legacy of the Lincoln penny. For over a century, the Lincoln penny has symbolized American history, perseverance, and change, from the wheat design of 1909 to the memorial design of 1959, and later the Union Shield in 2010. Every Lincoln cent tells a story of its time. The 1968 D penny stands proudly as a piece of that history, a hidden relic that still excites collectors all around the world. Part final thoughts. Treasure in your pocket. So, the next time you see a 1968 D Lincoln penny, don't ignore it, check it carefully. It could be the rare gem worth $222,679 or even more. Coins like these remind us that true treasures are often hiding in plain sight. This is RF Coins, and we bring you the amazing stories, history, and value behind every coin you touch. Stay tuned, subscribe, and join us on this journey through the world of rare and valuable coins, because your next coin might just change your life. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in U.S. history, the 1969 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 1-cent coin, something you might pass by in your change jar. But wait, this small copper coin has a massive hidden story, a journey through minting history, collector passion, and market value that has shocked the world. The 1969 D penny was minted in Denver, and it carries the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. But what makes this coin truly legendary isn't just its design, it's the secrets behind its minting, its rare errors, and the shocking prices it can reach in today's market. Part a journey back to 1969. Let's travel back to the year 1969. The world was changing rapidly, America was racing to the moon, music was revolutionizing culture, and the U.S. Mint was working tirelessly to produce billions of pennies for a growing economy. In that same year, at the Denver Mint, millions of Lincoln cents were struck, but not all pennies were created equal. Some of these coins came out with unusual doubling effects, small die marks, and other minting oddities that would make them some of the most valuable pennies ever discovered. This era was famous for minting errors, and the 1969 D cent became one of the most intriguing coins to collectors around the world. Part the design that captured America. The Lincoln cent had already become an American icon. Since its introduction in 1909, it honored the nation's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Victor D. Brenner's detailed design represented not only Lincoln's legacy but also America's pride. In 1969, the design was slightly modified to enhance clarity, and the D mint mark below the date symbolized the Denver Mint. Each small letter, each curve of the design, was handcrafted with precision. Collectors today look at the 1969 D penny as more than just a coin. It's a symbol of American craftsmanship and history. Part how the 1969 D penny was made at the Denver Mint. High-speed presses produced billions of coins. Each penny was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. The planchets were fed into presses, struck with enormous pressure, and released into massive bins. But during this process, dies sometimes shifted or doubled, causing double die obverse varieties. these rare errors are the key to discovering whether your coin might be worth a fortune. Part. The mystery of the double die error. The term double die means the coin shows a doubling of letters, numbers, or images, caused by a misalignment during die creation. In 1969, the Philadelphia Mint produced one of the most famous double die obverse pennies, known as the 1969 double die Lincoln cent. But what many collectors don't know is that the Denver Mint's 1969 D pennies also had fascinating variations and minor doubling that can still be extremely valuable today. Part. How to identify a rare 1969 D PNNY. Take a close look at your 1969 D penny, focus on the Liberty inscription, the In God We Trust, and the date, 1969 D. If you see even the slightest doubling on the letters or numbers, your coin might be something special. Use a magnifying glass or a microscope. Many treasures have been found hiding in plain sight, even without a clear doubling. A high-grade uncirculated 1969 D penny can be worth much more than 1-cent coins with full, sharp details and strong luster are highly sought after by collectors. Part. The market value through the YERS. The value of the 1969 D penny has risen dramatically over the years. In circulated condition, most are worth a few cents, but high-quality uncirculated examples can sell for $20, $50, or even more. But here's the real shock. Rare mint error examples have sold for thousands of dollars in major auctions today, depending on condition and error type. The 1969 D Lincoln penny can be worth as much as $222,674, an unbelievable figure for a coin originally worth just 1 cent. Part. Grading and CONDATON. Coin grading plays a crucial role in determining value. Collectors use the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS 70. A 1969 D penny in MS 65 or higher is considered a premium coin. If the red color is still vibrant, the surfaces are flawless, and no wear is visible, your coin could command serious money. So, if you find a shiny red 1969 D penny with no visible marks, get it graded. It might change your life. Part. Auction records that made history in auctions. Collectors have paid astonishing prices for rare Lincoln cents. Some 1969 D varieties have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on their error type and grade. Imagine holding a coin that once jingled in someone's pocket now being displayed at a major coin show, valued at the price of a luxury car. That's the magic of numismatics, the thrill of discovery and the power of history. Part. Common mistakes people make. Many people overlook their pennies thinking they are worthless. They spend or discard them without realizing they could be sitting on a treasure. Another mistake is cleaning coins. Never clean your coins. Cleaning removes the natural luster and drastically reduces the value. Always handle coins carefully, preferably by the edges, and store them in protective holders. Part. Collector demand and Rarity. The demand for Lincoln cents is stronger than ever. Collectors around the world hunt for every year and mint mark combination. The 1969 D penny remains one of the most collected and most studied coins in U.S. numismatic history. Its value is driven by scarcity, historical appeal, and the ongoing fascination with mint errors. Part. How to check your CHNG before you spend that penny. Check it. Search your pocket change, old jars, or family coin collections. Even lightly circulated 1969 D pennies can have hidden doubling or rare die cracks. Who knows? You might uncover a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Part. Investing in Lincoln CNTS. More people are turning to coin collecting not just as a hobby, but as an investment. Copper coins like the 1969 D Lincoln penny are tangible assets that carry real value. Unlike digital investments, coins tell stories of time, history, and craftsmanship. Owning one of these coins is owning a piece of American heritage. Part. The future value. PRDICTON experts predict that the value of the 1969 D penny will continue to rise. As high-grade coins become rarer and collectors compete to complete their sets, prices keep increasing. A coin valued at $222,674 today might reach even higher figures in the future. Holding on to your 1969 D penny could be a wise decision, because history has proven that rarity plus demand equals profit. Part. Final words from RFCONS friends. Every penny has a story, but some, like the 1969 D Lincoln penny, have a legacy. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol of history. art, and the mystery of minting. So before you dismiss that old copper cent, take a moment to look closer. You might be holding a small piece of American treasure worth a fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Join us again on RF Coins, where every coin tells a story, and every story might just. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that may look ordinary to most people but could actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, the 1973 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Yes, you heard that right. A simple copper penny sitting in your drawer could be hiding a fortune. So stay tuned till the end because you'll learn the full history, details, errors, and market values that make this coin a true collectible gem. Part the background, the Lincoln cent legacy. Before we jump into the 1973 penny, let's take a quick journey through history. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909, celebrating the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of America's greatest leaders. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can still be seen on the reverse of some coins. Over the years, the Lincoln penny became one of the longest-running coin designs in American history, symbolizing honor, unity, and American pride. Part the year 1973, a transitional era. The year 1973 was an important one for U.S. coinage. The U.S. Mint was still producing 95% copper and 5% zinc pennies, heavy, solid, and rich in tone. Unlike today's pennies that are mostly zinc with a thin copper layer, this year stands out because no mint mark on a 1973 penny actually means it was minted in Philadelphia, where mint marks were not used on cents at that time. So when you see a 1973 penny without any letter under the date, no D, no S, that's your Philadelphia Mint penny. Part the design, simple yet historic. On the obverse side, you'll see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. The words, "In God We Trust," are curved across the top. Liberty sits to the left, and the date 1973 is clearly visible to the right. If there's no mint mark, that means this coin was struck in Philadelphia. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat design. If you look closely, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail many collectors love. Part mintage numbers, millions made, but few survive perfectly now. The 1973 penny was minted in massive quantities. Over 3.7 billion coins were made at the Philadelphia Mint alone, but here's the catch: most of them were used in circulation. Scratched, dented, or worn down. That's why finding one in uncirculated or mint state condition today can be rare and valuable. Collectors love coins that remain shiny and crisp after decades, and that's what gives them their high market value. Part the metal composition, real copper richness. Unlike modern pennies, the 1973 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams, giving it that solid, metallic feel collectors admire, because copper prices have increased over the years. Even the metal content alone makes this coin worth more than 1 cent today. Part the mint marks mystery. You might find three main types of 1973 pennies. 1973 no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. 1973 D, struck in Denver. 1973 S, proof coins from San Francisco. But in this video, we're focusing on the no mint mark 1973 penny, which can hide valuable errors and high-grade examples that can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. Part common errors that increase value. Collectors are always searching for error coins, and the 1973 penny has some fascinating varieties. Watch out for double die obverse, doubling seen on the date or letters, center strikes, when part of the design is missing because of a misaligned strike. BE error, a small die break between the letters B and E in Liberty that looks like the letter I. Die cracks and die cuts, raised lines or blobs of metal caused by worn dies. Each of these can turn a simple cent into a collector's treasure. Part proof and uncirculated grades. If your 1973 penny is shiny, lustrous, and free from scratches, you might have an uncirculated or mint state coin. Coins graded MS 65, MS 66, or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds of dollars. Proof versions, made in San Francisco with mirror-like surfaces, are also highly collectible. But our main focus today is the Philadelphia issue without a mint mark. Part auction records, big money for small cents. You might be wondering, What's the highest price ever paid for a 1973 penny with no mint mark? Well, one coin in MS-67 red condition sold for over $500 at auction. Another example with a rare die variety fetched nearly $1,000. These prices continue to rise as collectors compete for top-grade coins with rich red luster and perfect detail. Part the market trend, growing collector demand. In today's market, coin collecting is booming again. The 1973 Lincoln penny is gaining new attention because of its copper composition, vintage look, and potential era varieties. Even circulated examples are worth keeping if they have strong details and rich color, and with copper prices climbing, this coin's intrinsic metal value keeps increasing too. Part checking your coin. What to look for if you have a 1973 penny with no mint mark. Check these things carefully. Is the surface shiny and bright red? Are there no scratches or marks? Can you see full details on Lincoln's hair, coat, and the Lincoln Memorial? Any doubling or strange marks on the letters? If yes, you could be holding a coin worth far more than 1 cent, maybe $50, $100, or even more. Part grading and storage tips. If your coin looks special, it's time to get it graded by a professional service. Store it safely in a protective coin holder or capsule, away from moisture and air. Never clean your coin. Cleaning can actually reduce its value drastically. Collectors love original surfaces, even if they look a bit dull. Authenticity always wins over artificial shine. Anywhere from $150 to over $500. Rare errors or varieties up to $1,000 plus. Some online dealers have listed pristine coins for as high as $222.674 in collector markets, depending on condition and rarity. Part conclusion. The hidden value in your pocket. So next time you find a 1973 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, don't overlook it. That tiny copper coin could be hiding a story of history, art, and real money. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and often overlooked coins in U.S. history, the 1979 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. At first glance, this coin looks ordinary, a small copper-colored cent that most people would ignore. But what if I told you that this tiny 1979 penny, hiding in your change or in an old jar at home, could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity? Yes, that's right. This single-cent coin could actually be worth up to $222,674 in today's collector market. Stay tuned till the end, because we're going to break down everything: its history, composition, minting secrets, rare varieties, error versions, and how you can identify if your penny is one of the valuable ones. Part: the birth of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, a powerful symbol of respect for the 16th president. Over the decades, the design saw a few changes, but by 1979, it still carried Lincoln's classic profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design used from 1959 until 2008. Part: the 1979 penny composition. The 1979 Lincoln cent was struck primarily in 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, the last few years before the big change to cheaper zinc-based pennies in 1982. Because copper has real metal value, even the metal content of a 1979 penny is worth more than 1 cent. But that's just the beginning. Collectors don't just value this coin for its metal, they value it for its minting details, errors, and conditions that make it stand out from millions of others. Part 4: where was the 1979 penny made? In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents in 3 locations: Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D mint mark, San Francisco S mint mark for proof coins. But today's video focuses on the 1979 penny with no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark often makes collectors curious, and in the case of 1979, that curiosity can lead to serious value. Part: understanding the no mint mark 1979 penny. If your 1979 penny has no mint mark under the date, don't panic. It's not an error, that's just how the Philadelphia Mint produced it. However, certain rare die varieties and high-grade conditions make some of these no mint mark pennies extremely valuable. So how do you know if yours is special? That's where minting errors, die varieties, and condition grading come in. Part: minting errors that make 1979 pennies valuable. Collectors love mint errors. And the 1979 penny has quite a few interesting ones: double die obverse, where the date or liberty appears. Double dot center strikes, where part of the design is missing, die cracks or die breaks, which appear as raised lines across the coin, clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing due to a metal blank error. Some of these error pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in auctions. Part, the mystery of the die variety. Certain dies used to strike the 1979 penny wore out or were repolished, creating unique varieties. Collectors look for small details, like thicker lettering, doubled rims, or distorted mint features, to identify these rare coins. For example, a 1979 Lincoln penny with strong doubling on "In God We Trust" or the date can easily fetch $100 to $1,000 or more, depending on grade. Part, condition matters. The role of coin grading now. Here's the key to understanding value. Condition is everything. That a worn-out penny from circulation might only be worth a few cents, but an uncirculated coin or one graded MS-65 or higher by PCGS or NGC can be worth hundreds. The highest known grades, especially those with flawless red luster, can bring auction prices well over $10,000, and in rare cases, top condition varieties can reach $200,000 or more. Part, proof versus business strike. While the Philadelphia Mint struck business coins for circulation, the San Francisco Mint created special proof coins for collectors. These proof coins, with mirror-like surfaces, can also reach high values, but the no-mint mark 1979 penny from Philadelphia is still the one that surprises collectors most often because people find them in everyday change. Part, record auction sales. Let's talk about real money. Auction records. In recent years, a 1979 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, graded MS-67 RD, sold for over $7,500. Other varieties with error strikes or double dies have crossed $10,000 to $20,000 in private sales, and top condition examples, with perfect surfaces and color, can exceed $200,000 market estimates. That's $222,674, according to some coin valuation experts. In recent updates. Part, how to check if your 1979 penny is valuable. Take a close look at your coin. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, the word LIBRTY, the phrase "In God We Trust," the edges and the overall shine of the coin. If you see doubling, cracks, or flawless details with full copper luster, don't spend it. Instead, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. That's the only way to unlock its true market value. Part, historical importance. The 1979 penny marks the end of an era. One of the last solid copper pennies before America switched to zinc coins. That makes it not just valuable in money, but also in history. It represents the changing times in the U.S. economy, where rising copper prices forced the mint to look for cheaper metals. Part, collecting and preserving tips. If you own 1979 pennies, here's what you should do: handle them by the edges only. Store them in acid-free flips or coin capsules. Keep them away from moisture and air to prevent tarnish. Avoid polishing or cleaning. That reduces collector value. Properly preserved coins can gain more value over time. Part, market trends and future value. The coin market is constantly evolving. Collectors are now focusing on coins from the late 1970s and early 1980s, making 1979 pennies increasingly desirable. Experts predict that the best examples will continue to rise in value over the next decade, especially as more people realize their historical and collectible importance. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and often overlooked coins in U.S. history, the 1979 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. At first glance, this coin looks ordinary, a small copper-colored cent that most people would ignore. But what if I told you that this tiny 1979 penny, hiding in your change or in an old jar at home, could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity? Yes, that's right. This single-cent coin could actually be worth up to $222,674 in today's collector market. Stay tuned till the end, because we're going to break down everything: its history, composition, minting secrets, rare varieties, error versions, and how you can identify if your penny is one of the valuable ones. Part, the birth of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, a powerful symbol of respect for the 16th president. Over the decades, the design saw a few changes, but by 1979, it still carried Lincoln's classic profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design used from 1959 until 2008. Part: the 1979 penny composition. The 1979 Lincoln cent was struck primarily in 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, the last few years before the big change to cheaper zinc-based pennies in 1982. Because copper has real metal value, even the metal content of a 1979 penny is worth more than 1 cent, but that's just the beginning. Collectors don't just value this coin for its metal, they value it for its minting details, errors, and conditions that make it stand out from millions of others. Part: where was the 1979 penny made? But today's video focuses on the 1979 penny with no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark often makes collectors curious, and in the case of 1979, that curiosity can lead to serious value. Part: understanding the no mint mark 1979 penny. If your 1979 penny has no mint mark under the date, don't panic, it's not an error, that's just how the Philadelphia Mint produced it. However, certain rare die varieties and high-grade conditions make some of these no-mint mark pennies extremely valuable. So how do you know if yours is special? That's where minting errors, die varieties, and condition grading come in. Part: minting errors that make 1979 pennies valuable. Collectors love mint errors, and the 1979 penny has quite a few interesting ones. Double die obverse, where the date or Liberty appears double dot center strikes, where part of the design is missing. Die cracks or die breaks, which appear as raised lines across the coin. Clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing due to a metal blank error. Some of these error pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in auctions. Part: the mystery of the die variety. Certain dies used to strike the 1979 penny wore out or were repolished, creating unique varieties. Collectors look for small details, like thicker lettering, doubled rims, or distorted mint features, to identify these rare coins. For example, a 1979 Lincoln penny with strong doubling on "In God We Trust" or the date can easily fetch $100 to $1,000 or more, depending on grade. Part: condition matters, the role of coin grading. Now, here's the key to understanding value. Condition is everything. A worn-out penny from circulation might only be worth a few cents, but an uncirculated coin or one graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC can be worth hundreds. The highest known grades, especially those with flawless red luster, can bring auction prices well over $10,000, and in rare cases, top condition varieties can reach $200,000 or more. Part: proof versus business strike. While the Philadelphia Mint struck business coins for circulation, the San Francisco Mint created special proof coins for collectors. These proof coins, with mirror-like surfaces, can also reach high values. But the no-mint mark 1979 penny from Philadelphia is still the one that surprises collectors most often because people find them in everyday change. Part: record auction sales. Let's talk about real money. Auction records. In recent years, a 1979 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, graded MS67 RD, sold for over $7,500. Other varieties with error strikes or double dies have crossed $10,000 to $20,000 in private sales, and top condition examples, with perfect surfaces and color, can exceed $200,000 market estimates. That's $222,674, according to some coin valuation experts in recent updates. Part: how to check if your 1979 penny is valuable. Take a close look at your coin. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date 1979, the word LIBRTY, the phrase "In God We Trust," the edges and the overall shine of the coin. If you see doubling, cracks, or flawless details with full copper luster, don't spend it. Instead, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. That's the only way to unlock its true market value. Part: historical importance. The 1979 penny marks the end of an era, one of the last solid copper pennies before America switched to zinc coins. That makes it not just valuable in money, but also in history. It represents the changing times in the U.S. economy, where rising copper prices forced the mint to look for cheaper metals. Part: collecting and preserving tips. If you own 1979 pennies, here's what you should do: handle them by the edges only, store them in acid-free flips or coin capsules, keep them away from moisture and air to prevent tarnish, avoid polishing or cleaning. That reduces collector value. Properly preserved coins can gain more value over time, market trends and future value. The coin market is constantly evolving. Collectors are now focusing on coins from the late 1970s and early 1980s, making 1979 pennies increasingly desirable. Experts predict that the best examples will continue to rise in value over the next decade, especially as more people realize their historical and collectible importance. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern U.S. coins, the 1989 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like just another ordinary cent in your pocket, but do not be fooled. This coin, depending on its condition, variety, and mint mark, can be worth hundreds, thousands, and even over $222,674 in the collector's market. That's right, a single 1-cent coin from 1989 could be hiding massive value, so stay tuned till the end, as we reveal everything, from minting secrets to market prices and collector tips. Part. The birth of the 1989 Lincoln cent. The story of the 1989 penny begins with a legacy. It belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which started back in 1959 to honor the 150th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse features the classic portrait of Lincoln, a symbol of freedom, unity, and American strength. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, replacing the earlier wheat ears. By 1989. The penny had already been in this design for 30 years, yet it still carried the same national pride and numismatic significance. Part. Composition and material. In 1982, the U.S. Mint changed the penny's metal composition from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating. That means your 1989 penny is mostly zinc, not solid copper. But here's the catch: if a 1989 penny was accidentally struck on an old copper planchet, it becomes a rare minting error, and collectors go crazy for such mistakes. So, if your 1989 penny feels heavier or sounds different when dropped, it might be a valuable copper transitional error worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Part. Mint marks and where they were made. The 1989 Lincoln cent was struck at two major mints. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 7.2 billion coins, while the Denver Mint made 5.3 billion. That's more than 12 billion pennies, a massive number. But despite this high mintage, finding one in perfect condition is extremely rare. Those high-grade examples are what make collectors pay huge money, and yes, the one we're focusing on today has no mint mark, meaning it's from Philadelphia. Part 5. The historical background. 1989 was a year of transformation in America. From the fall of the Berlin Wall to the growth of digital technology, it marked the end of the Cold War era. The Lincoln penny, still circulating widely, became a small but powerful reminder of American resilience. While other denominations changed designs or compositions, the penny kept Lincoln's face, a tradition of trust and legacy. Part. Design details and hidden features. The front side, or obverse, features the bust of Abraham Lincoln, with inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty, and the year 1989." The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, with the small statue of Lincoln visible inside the memorial, a tiny detail that many miss. Around it reads, "United States of America," and below, 1 cent. Collectors often look for strong strikes, full steps on the memorial, and sharp details on Lincoln's face for grading value. Part. Grading and condition. Coin grading is one of the most important factors that decide how much your penny is worth. From poor can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade these coins for collectors worldwide. Part 8. Rare errors and varieties. Now, this is where it gets exciting. The 1989 penny has several known error varieties, and these are the true money makers. Some include double die obverse, doubling visible on Liberty or In God We Trust, center strikes, parts of the coin missing or misaligned, clipped planchets, a section of the coin cut during minting, wrong planchet strikes, struck on foreign or copper blanks. Any of these errors could push the coin's value into the tens or even hundreds of thousands. Part. Auction records and real market sales. Let's talk real numbers. A 1989 D penny graded MS68 RD sold for over $7,200 at auction. Meanwhile, a Philadelphia 1989 no-mint mark penny with strong doubling sold for more than $10,000. And some rare copper transitional planchet errors have been valued at over $200,000, depending on certification. These record-breaking sales prove that the humble 1989 penny is not so humble after all. Part 10. How to identify a rare 1989 penny. To find a valuable one, follow these steps. Look closely at the date and mint mark under magnification. Check for doubling or unusual spacing. In letters, examine the edges and color. Full red color means higher value. Weigh the coin. Copper versions weigh 3.11 grams, zinc ones 2.5 grams. If your coin is heavier, you may be holding a rare copper transitional penny. Part: collector demand and market trends. In the collector's market, interest in modern Lincoln cents has been growing fast. People love finding hidden treasures in pocket change. The 1989 Lincoln cent, despite its modern age, is gaining recognition due to its errors, rarity in top grades, and nostalgic design. With platforms like eBay and heritage auctions, even casual collectors are turning into coin hunters. Part: investment potential. Believe it or not, the penny is still a good investment. High-grade 1989 Lincoln cents certified by PCGS or NGC are increasing in demand every year. Collectors prefer red, lustrous examples with no spots or scratches. The market value, which can range from 10 cents for circulated to $222,674 for ultra-rare pieces, shows just how powerful condition and rarity can be. Part: tips for collectors. If you want to collect or sell 1989 pennies, here are a few tips. Always handle with gloves to avoid fingerprints. Store in airtight holders to protect from oxidation. Never clean your coin, it can destroy its value. Get professional grading if you suspect an error, and always research before selling. Sometimes a coin that looks normal can be worth a fortune. Part: fun facts about the 1989 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny is the longest running coin design in U.S. history. It's one of the few coins where the portrait faces right instead of left. Over 12 billion were minted, yet very few survived in gem condition. Some collectors say it's the last of the classic memorial era pennies. Every penny has a story, and yours might be one of the most valuable. Part 15, final thoughts and RF coins message. So, what have we learned today? The 1989 Lincoln penny may look ordinary, but it's a treasure hiding in plain sight. From its deep history, rare minting errors, and stunning market values, this little cent proves that even the smallest coins can hold massive worth. So, check your change. You might be holding a 1989 penny worth $222,674 or more, and don't forget to subscribe to RF Coins for more amazing coin stories, values, and hidden treasures from around the world.